Well, a very good afternoon, everybody, and happy Thursday. My name is Sandy Elson, and on behalf of the travel professional community and travelprofessionalnews.com, I want to welcome all of you and thank you so much for joining us today. Today's webinar is being hosted by Travel Planners International. As always, we really appreciate the support we get from TPI. Travel Planners International is a sales, marketing, and support agency for new and experienced travel professionals. Savvy, entrepreneurial-minded agents and agency owners partner with TPI for their forward-thinking, profit-generating marketing programs, savvy social media support, small business training events and agent community building meetings, and time-saving back-office technology. Truth be told, they describe themselves as a group of fun, good-looking peeps in Maitland, Florida, who spend their days and nights dreaming and scheming of ways they can make their family of passionate, sleep-deprived rock star agents so happy and profitable that they go to bed at night, usually pretty darn late, yelling, "Nailed it!" Our speaker today for TPI is Jen Lee, Vice President of Sales and Marketing. Leaving her business consulting behind, Jen Lee isn't shy about her obsession for guiding and leading today's entrepreneurial-minded travel agent community. According to Lee, the travel industry is on the upswing. That's great news. And this is the moment to remind the world that travel agents aren't independent contractors, they're small business owners. What matters to Lee is meeting with passionate, hustling, and driven entrepreneurs in the making who just plain get it. Jen's topic today is how to never hear another no again. Before we get started, a reminder that you are all muted, but we welcome your questions. You can type in your questions at any time on the right-hand panel of your screen. There's an area there that says questions. At the end of the webinar, we'll get to as many questions as we can, but we'll also be taking questions during the webinar. So if Jen talks about something about which you have a question, go ahead and type it in and let's see if we can get that answered for you. Also at the end of the webinar, Jen has an amazing prize for two lucky prize winners who have really been paying attention. I'll tell you more about the prize a little bit later, but as a hint, you're going to want to take notes. So let's get started with all this wonderful information. Welcome, Jen. It's great to have you here again.
Thank you, Sandy. It's so good to be back with the Travel Professional News audience. Hi, everybody. I wish there was a video camera here so that you could see my excitement in my face. But I'm excited to be here with you guys. And as Sandy was saying, we're really obsessed with you. We look at y'all as small business owners, even if you're just a owner of one, a solopreneur. Your whole job is contingent on whether or not you nail it at the end of every single day. So we love sharing great sales tips, business tips, and marketing tips with everyone. And today, I'm excited. I love talking about this topic. I've talked about this for about 11 years, how to never hear a no again. And it really came up because everyone who knows me, they call me kind of like the whisperer, like everyone does what I tell them to do, right? So my husband does what I tell him to do, my bosses do what I tell them to do, my workers, my teammates, my friends, and it's not because I'm bossy, it's just that I've learned how to really properly communicate with people and get them to say yes to something that's important to me, or that I think more importantly, that's important to them. And that's really a big part of our job is to help people say yes to travel, say yes to taking time off, say yes to that incentive program, whatever it is. That's really a big part of your job. And it doesn't matter what industry I speak to, I always hear the same thing. They always say, you know, I'm working so hard, I'm sharing all the statistics and the facts, and I answer all the questions, and I follow up in a timely manner, and I have kick butt marketing, and I have a great product, a great program, everything, but I'm still hearing no more often than I'd like. And I'm going to tell you, by the end of this webinar, you will never hear no again if you're proactive and you really take to heart what I'm going to share with you today. you'll see that it's not as hard as you think it is. And it's really based on a couple of things that you may have heard in the past from just your life rules, as well as some just basic stuff. But in case you haven't heard these two things, these things are really important for you to understand. First one, and as Sandy said, make sure you're taking notes. The first one is people buy on emotion and they justify logically. That's right. People buy on emotion and justify logically, which simply means that before somebody says, yes, I'll spend $5,000 on a vacation, they have to get emotionally attached to the notion of going on that vacation. They also have to get emotionally attached to you, or they have to feel like they feel connected to you. You've emotionally brought them in. You've sucked them into your passion and your excitement. You've gotten them to really, really listen to you. Once they are emotionally saying, yeah, I think I want to do this, then that's when they start saying, yo, but I only have so much money, or hey, how can I make this work for this time frame when that cruise line is sold out, or whatever it is. They have to emotionally buy first. And so often salespeople and entrepreneurs like yourselves start with the logic, or you allow your client to start with the logic. It's your job to flip it around and get them emotionally involved. So keep that in mind. People buy on emotion and justify logically. And it's so funny. Anytime I do this live, I always challenge the audience. I always say, just tell me one thing you think people don't buy emotionally, and I will always be able to tell you how they emotionally buy on it. So if you want to put that in there, and Sandy, when I get done with a couple of points, we'll go back to it. Just name one product that you think people only buy on logic, and I'll show you how they don't. So that's baseline number one. Baseline number two is kind of a life rule that I learned as a little kid, and I bet you guys did as well, which was the golden rule, right? People always want to be treated, treat people the way you want to be treated, right? Your parents have told you that, your aunts and uncles, your grandma, everybody. Treat people the way you want to be treated. And that's a great golden rule. But in reality, in sales and in the entrepreneurial space, and if you never want to hear a no again, you want to follow life rule that's called the platinum rule. And the platinum rule is treat people the way they want to be treated. Doesn't matter how you want to be treated. It's really about treating people the way they want to be treated. You see, if you do that, then they recognize the fact that you are taking the time to listen to them. Number one. Number two, they just automatically feel a little more connected to you because you're treating them exactly the way they want to be treated. So you're kind of in concert with one another. Similarly, when we travel around the world and we go to a foreign country and nobody's speaking English, the moment the first waiter speaks English, you're like ordering everything on the menu. You feel more comfortable to ask those silly questions. You feel like you've been in a place that you've already known because they're treating you the way you want to be treated and they're connecting with you. So those are two kind of baselines I want you to keep in mind before I share with you the Bolt personality styles. And I
Jen,
promise you, yes.
do you want me to throw some examples out at you that are agents?
Yes. Let's make you feel wrong.
Okay,
Tell
and this is for buying emotionally and justifying logically. We've had two
me.
examples thrown out, a new car and a toilet.
Oh, let me take the toilet. Love that. Thank you to whoever did that. I totally did you already. So it's so funny. So a toilet, no, they don't go to Home Depot looking at prices only. When you go to Home Depot, the very first thing you do, or Lowe's, or you're looking online, or you watch it on a TV commercial, you're looking at the way it looks. That's the very first thing you do. You look to see the way it looks. Now, mind you, if you are renovating a home and you could care less if it's got a higher raise or if it's got a fancier base or what have you, then you're looking at it to say, what's the one that's the easiest for me to install? Or what's the one that's going to be, streamlined that everybody is going to like? What's the most generic one? You don't necessarily look at the price. Now, emotionally, if you say, I have a budget for $150 for that toilet, you're going to go to the store that you think meets your needs. That need is, I need a wide selection within my budget. So you're emotionally buying the store and the location. Then you're emotionally buying, even if it's $150 and you're putting it in, chances are you want it to last more than 2 days, whether you put it in your home or whether you put it into an investment property. So you're emotionally saying, I need something that's got some quality that fits my budget. So you emotionally make that decision first because you're thinking about things before you're actually thinking about, you've got the budget in mind. That might be there. But let's just say you see a toilet that's $150 that meets your budget. But I got to tell you, it's not good looking. And you're kind of like, I'm not sure of this brand. And you went on Consumer Reports. And guess what? Consumer Reports didn't give it a good thing. Well, the fact that you went on Consumer Reports means you're emotionally attaching yourself to the outcome that that toilet's going to work well for you. And I bet if it has a bad review, you're going to emotionally attach yourself to the one Consumer Reports tells you, and that might be $175. Lined paper, paper clips, I don't care what it is, you emotionally make decisions either visually or because of what you think it's going to get you before you logically justify it.
That is fabulous.
I
You did a great
hope I
job.
meant
You did a great job. Our agents want to know if they're supposed to be still seeing your first slide also.
they are. And thank
Okay,
you for
good.
asking.
Sure.
Actually, here, let's do this because I'm just as cute as they can be. I'm going to show you me.
That's
Stand by.
true. Oh,
Hi. Hi.
much better, much better.
Thank you, Sandy, for that prompt, and thank you, audience, for your prompts. I get so excited, I just keep talking. Anyhow, so that's me. Hi, I'm Jen Lee. I'm super cute. And you can ask me about my hair products later. That's fine. Everyone always does. And yes, my hair is naturally curly. Okay, so let's get back on track. I learned this Bolt personality selling style from a gentleman by the name of Charles Clark. And I used to be in real estate. And when I sold real estate, I sold $500,000 homes. And people would come in on a Saturday or a Sunday or on a Tuesday or what have you, and they wanted to, look at homes. And if you've ever gone to a new home community, 9 times out of 10, the person walks in and says, let me just walk the models. Let me just walk the models. And so I'd be like, all right, you're not going to know what you're looking at, but okay, go walk the models. And I used to have like this canned presentation. I would show them the kitchen, or I'd follow behind them, or I'd ask like these standard questions. I had like a checklist of questions I was supposed to ask. And I didn't get as many yeses as I wanted. And I didn't understand why, because I always fancied myself as a really good salesperson. So this gentleman, Charles Clark, came in and he taught us this Bolt personality selling. And I'm not exaggerating when I tell you, I rarely ever heard a no after that. Rarely did I hear it. And I rarely hear a no today. So this is really going to change your life. Okay, so let's move on. I'm going to share with you, tell me if this shows up. Here we go. It's a 5-step process today. Step number 1, we're going to identify the 4 personality types that I'm talking about. And if any of you have ever done like Myers-Briggs or some of those like, higher end, really expensive things, the DISC, you can't remember what the hell it is. So this is so much easier. It's based on the same personality types, but so much easier, and then how to use them. So, okay, so we're going to identify the 4 personality types. Second thing we're going to do together is we're going to discover who you are. And we're all a combination, most likely of all 4, but we have a really strong number 1 and a strong number 2. So we're going to identify that today, and you're going to crack yourself up. Then you're going to determine who others are. And I'm going to challenge you to kind of like say, who is your spouse, your sister, your mom, your best friend? And you're going to change the way you communicate with them, I promise. You're going to adjust your approach. So I'm going to give you some tactics and some tips on exactly how to adjust your approach based on the personality type of who you are and who they are. And step number 5, you're going to live a happier life, because when we are successful in our business, it helps us bring joy and money into our bank accounts, and so that helps us live a happier life. Before we go on, Sandy, can we ask that first poll question? Because that will kind of help us a little bit.
Okay, here we go. I'm going to show a poll, and you guys get to vote. And here it is. When interviewing a new client, what is the main piece of information you desire to know before talking with them? Select one of the following. How did they hear about or find you? Where or what type of travel are they seeking? Why or for what reason are they traveling? So go ahead and vote, and I'll give you a few seconds, and then we'll see where we are.
Okay, cool. I haven't done this little poll before. This is
Yeah,
good.
pretty cool, huh?
There at Travel Professionals. Love it.
Okay, I'll give you another 5 seconds. We have About 66% of you who have voted so far.
Excellent.
Yeah.
Good. I love these are people of action. I
These
get it.
want I want everyone to know what they think. Okay,
Mhm.
here we go. And here, whoops, share results. Here we go. When interviewing a new client, what is the main piece of information you want to know? So the most people voted for where or what type of travel are they seeking? That's 52%, followed by why or for what reason are they traveling, 33%, and how did they hear about or find you, got 15%.
Okay, great.
So
Now
there
that's
we are.
pretty. Oh, darn it. Oh, that's okay. I've got my questions over here. So the number one was where or what type of travel
Oh,
are
let me
they
go back.
seeking? So that's okay. That where, what type of travel are they seeking? So half of you said that's the main piece of information you desire. Is that emotion or logic? I'll have you think about that for a second. You've gone straight to logic, to the facts and the information, versus what 33% of you started with. Why or for what reason are you traveling? That's emotional. How did you hear about you or find you is factual and can be emotional as well. Because if you find out that they are best friends with Susie, you're going to kind of know a little thing about them because they're best friends with Susie. And you know, Susie is just as crazy and as fun as she can be. And if this is her bestie, chances are they may be very similar. So you've got a little bit of insight into who they are. So where or what type of travel are you seeking is a logical answer. And I want you to flip it around to emotion. Thank you, Sandy. Okay, good. So y'all be thinking about that. All right, let's dive in. 4 different types of personalities. First one is the bull. This is the person who likes to get to the bottom line. They're a get to the point kind of person. They're really fast to make decisions. They're very fast paced. They're probably very loud. They're results oriented. They have a need to control the situation. Prestige and status are really important to them. And all they want you to do is get to the point. Now, you'll know a bull when you meet them because when you shake their hand, they actually flip your hand over. Like they grab your hand, they do it a couple of pumps, and then they flip your hand over. It's a power thing. They don't know they're doing it, but a bull tends to want to take control right from the get-go. You'll know a bull when they send you an email. A bull may send you an email and say, hey, I want to go to, a 5-star resort in Cancun where I'm not around a bunch of children. What's your price and availability? A bull gets right to the point. They also always bring up like prestige and status. They say it. Now, I'm not going to get political here, but the absolute perfect bull for you to be envisioning right now is Donald Trump. Okay, he is bull personified. Now he is to the bull, like massive bull. Pay attention. He's really fast to the side. He likes to get to the bottom line. He's results oriented, no matter what you agree or disagree with. He needs to control the situation. Bulls are actually the easiest people to sell. They are the most irritating at times. They can rub you the wrong way if you're not a bull. You can be scared to death of them, but I will promise you 95% of the $500,000, $750,000 homes that I sold back in real estate days, even homes that nobody else wanted to look at, I could sell to a bull. Because I would just tell a bull, this is the most prestigious. Nobody else is even daring to walk into this home because it's on this corner. They think it's such a big deal. Here's what I think you can do. Or, hey, you're the only one that's going to actually have this floor plan on this row. For you guys, it would be like, I just found out, nobody even knows about this resort. I just found out about this resort in this little town outside of Cabo. Tell me if you're interested in information. I would just send them a quick email. Text. You want to text bulls. Bulls give you one answer question or one word answers to your questions. Bulls you get no warm and fuzzy feel from, but if you're dealing with a bull, you can get your largest sale without you even realizing it if you handle it right. So think about that. They like to get to the bottom line. Think of the last customer you had that was like that. Write that person's name down. And I wish we were live because so many people start giggling at this point. They're like, oh my God, that's my husband, or oh my God, that's totally me. I've got a lot of bull personality in me. So I'm pretty straight to the point. I don't really fuss around. That's personality number one. Our next one is owl. Hoo, hoo. Now, your owls are your typical engineers, your accountants. These are very detail-oriented people. They like to hear the presentation from A to Z. They take a long time to decide. They're very slow-paced. They do not accept mistakes. As a matter of fact, they'll find a mistake on something so minor that has nothing to do with anything, and they won't make a buying decision because the apostrophe was in the wrong place after the S or before the S. Owls pay attention to detail. They don't let you make a mistake, and they don't like to make a mistake. They don't like to be wrong. Write that down. The reason why owls are so detailed is they are very concerned about being wrong. They don't want to make wrong decisions. They're very time conscious. They're very early to appointments. And security is really their buying tool. So that's their buying motivator, I should say, security. You'll know an owl, it'll be the person that if you're meeting them face to face comes with a 3-ring binder and they've already done 17 hours worth of research. They've already polled their friends about things. They've already downloaded pictures. They've read reviews on TripAdvisor. They've come up with 11 different resorts that they'd like you to price out, and they've got 6 different categories in each resort. They like magic markers. They like things highlighted. When they send you an email, it's very long, very detailed. When they reply to your email, it's by each individual bullet point. They will section it off. I mean, owls just think of those really detail-oriented full presentations. I think they're the most exhausting people to sell to, but I'm a bull. So they're very exhausting to me because there's so many questions that they want the answers to. A big key to an owl is that they don't want to be wrong. And I'll share with you a quick story that'll help you understand it. My husband is an owl. He is an owl to a T. And he and I dated for about 7 years. And we're kind of at the point we had bought a home together and everything. I'm like, are you ever going to ask me to marry you? I was trying not to be pushy, but I was like, come on, dude, what's going on? I'm ready. I'm ready. Let's do this thing. And I realized that the reason why he hadn't proposed, and he didn't say this to me, I just figured it out after I took this Bolt training, I realized he didn't know how to buy a ring. And that's all it was. He didn't understand about the 4 C's, and he didn't want to make a mistake on his $1,500 purchase of my wedding ring back in the day. And so I realized that in order to close the deal, to get him to ask me, I had to give him little hints on the 4 C's. Then I had to share with him, guess what? 2 of our friends who just got married, they bought their engagement rings at these 2 jewelers. That still wasn't enough. Then I realized, oh my goodness, I need to pick out the setting. So I picked out the setting for it. The only thing I didn't do was actually go in and actually purchase the ring. It took another 3.5 months of making that happen because owls are slow to decide. If you're patient with an owl and you answer all their questions, they will say yes. Don't push an owl though until you've answered all their questions. And I'm going to share some tactics with you. Sandy, does anybody have any questions so far?
Nope, not since the last ones. You're free to continue.
Okay, good. They're probably writing away, right?
I
I
think
hope
so.
you guys are enjoying. All right, our next animal is the lamb. Our little lambs, pumpkins, baby lambs. There are peacemakers in the world. Our lambs want to be your friend. They like to be given direction, and support is really important to them. They're very slow to decide, and they often change their mind. They may say, yes, I definitely want you to quote me on that Alaskan cruise. My family and I really want to go on that, and then they'll never return your phone call. Lambs want to be your friend, so they don't like to say no to you. They completely understand when you make a mistake. They forgive you immediately. They feel bad about your mistakes. Oh, maybe I should have been more clear. I'll take responsibility for it. Lambs just don't ever want to upset the apple cart. They avoid conflict. Security and well-being of others is very important, and they are our peacemakers. These are the absolute hardest people to sell. If you are faced with a lamb, you've got to understand that you have to help them feel okay with saying no to a suggestion. You have to help them feel okay to say yes, they want to go on a girls' trip because they don't want to leave their family or their kids or what have you. Lambs have to be walked through the process. They like having that direction, and they want to feel like you are giving them support. You can't push a lamb either. You can guide a lamb. And security is important to them as well, and happiness to everybody else. Without lambs in our world, we would be in absolute chaos. So we have to love the lamb. And if you are a lamb as a salesperson, you have an uphill battle because you don't want to have conflict. You don't like saying no or hearing no. So you end up giving away the farm, maybe giving up some of your commission, maybe working really, really hard on a quote, and then somebody says, oh, you know what, I went with Susie down the street. Thanks so much, Julie, I really appreciate it. And you don't speak up. It's not that you're a pushover, so don't misunderstand me. It's just that for you, it's just easier to let somebody else have the sale, then you justify it in your head, and then you don't feel good about it, and then you're avoid the next conflict. So if you are a lamb, I'm going to give you very specific tactics on how to kind of overcome this so that you can be a strong salesperson without ever changing your personality. Your personality and all of these will never change. It's just words that you're going to use and awareness that you're going to have. So if you're a lamb, it's okay. It's all right. We need you, we love you, and you actually make great travel agents. You actually make amazing travel agents because you put so much time and effort into everything. There's so much thought behind everything. So lambs make great travel agents as long as they can adjust to make great salespeople. All right, and then our last animal is the tiger. And I put Tigger the tiger up there because this is so typical of what a tiger is like. You know this personality left and right. So most of you have never met me, I'm assuming. And just from my pace of my voice, you can kind of tell I get excited easily, right? They're not into details. They prefer others to take care of the details. Tigers are yeah, let's do dinner next Saturday. That sounds great. Just text me the details. They're going to be late because they're going to forget that they actually committed to dinner. So you're going to have to text them again. If you're an owl, owls and tigers get along great because lambs and tigers get along great because lambs like to take care of people and tigers need somebody to take care of them because they're going to get run over by a car. They're really fast to decide. They're often late for appointments. They love, love, love recognition. So you'll know a tiger as soon as you meet them because if it's a female, she's got like bright colors on and she's got bangles and bright lipstick and her hair is out and she looks like she's from Dallas, and they just kind of bound into the room. You rarely can you not picture a tiger. Now there's calmer tigers out there as well, but you can kind of tell they like attention. So pay attention to them liking attention. They love recognition. Use their name often, often, often. Tigers and bulls use their name often, often, often. Owls and lambs get irritated with you using their names.
Jen?
Yes, ma'am.
We do have a question. What's the best way to sell to a lamb?
I'm going to tell you that in just a moment. That's a great question.
Okay.
I'll tell you exactly. Just bear in mind, with lambs, it's never about them. And I might not have said that, so write that down. Remember, it's never about them. Don't make it about them. Don't say to them, you deserve this, you've earned this. They don't care about themselves in that way, in that capacity. So I'm going to get a little bit more into it, but that gives you a snippet. Good question. Tigers, they like challenges. They love to win. And social relationships are super important to tigers. Now, they're really tough to sell sometimes because they don't focus. Tigers don't focus. So they're the kind that you could call them you could send them all the detailed itinerary and they're going to totally forget that you sent it to them. And so with a tiger, you want to make sure that you're not only sending it to them, you're calling them, you're texting them, you printed it out and you emailed it to them and you mailed it to them at the same time. Because tigers need people to take care of them because they're just not into the details. And so they can be very exhausting, but they're so much fun. The beautiful thing about a tiger, actually a beautiful thing about all four of these personalities is once you've broken through and you've adopted and adapted your approach to them using the right words and the right approach, and that's what I'm going to tell you in just a moment. Once you've done it, they will be clients for life. They will never, ever, 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 ever go anywhere else unless you break your relationship with them. And they will refer to you constantly. They will refer people to you all the time. Bulls will say it like this. Bulls will say, oh, you've got to use my travel agent. She's the best, right? So a bull will say that. And Owl would say, I've done a lot of research, and I got to tell you, I used Susie with Susie's Travel out of Anaheim, California. Here is her card, her business card. I keep them with me. Please make sure you tell her that I told you about her. She's great into the details. She took great care of me, blah, blah, blah. They will go into this whole long dissertation. They'll explain their whole trip, yada, yada, yada. Lambs will do it because they love you. If you've emotionally connected to them and you've shown them respect and you've AKA sold to them, I'm doing quote unquote sold to them, they will know that whoever they refer you to is in really good hands. And then a tiger will totally talk about you because they're going to be all over Facebook, all over Instagram, all over Snapchat. They're going to tell everybody about you. They're never going to remember to carry your card. They're going to forget the name of your company. They're never going to remember how to get a hold of you. You got to be in their phone. But all four, if you do it right and you don't break that relationship, all four of them are great referral sources to you without you even having to ask. All right, any other questions? I'm going to go to the next slide.
Yep, we have a question. Since owls don't like mistakes, how do you recover from a mistake made when sending a quote or any kind of mistake?
Okay. That's a great question. Let me answer that one right now. You own up to the mistake, and then you make up for it by oversharing additional information. So when you make a mistake with an owl, you got to say, you know what? Wow, that's a great point. I should have caught that. And let me give you some additional stuff now that we're thinking about it. You had asked me about A, B, and C. Let me give you full details about that. As soon as they hear that you've gone back into detail mode, they'll trust you again. It depends on how big the mistake is, too. Do you have any other questions? Because I'm going to go over some tactics for sure, and that's where most of our questions are going to come up.
Okay, nope, that's it for now. Thanks.
Okay, you're welcome. My pleasure. All right, so bull, owl, lamb, tiger. I want you to circle and then type in the two personality types in the order that you are. We usually have a pretty strong number one and a fairly strong number two. And don't worry, we have a little bit probably of all four. Most of us do. Again, there's no way you're a travel agent and you don't have any lamb in you because you have to care about others. And that's just kind of like part of our industry is you're doing this because you care about people, because we know we work really hard to make money. All right, I want to hear some of these combinations as you guys are typing them in.
Okay, type them in into the question area, and we're getting several. We have owl and lamb. We have lamb and owl, owl and lamb, owl and lamb, owl and lamb. Lots of owls and lambs. We have
There you
one,
go.
we have one bull and lamb.
Okay. Oh, okay.
We have a lamb and tiger. We have one covering all of her bases: tiger, lamb, owl, bull.
That's an owl. Okay. That's an owl or a lamb.
Okay. We have owl and lamb. We have bull and owl, owl and bull, lamb and tiger, bull and tiger, lamb and owl, and bull and lamb.
So what's the one we heard most, guys? Lamb, right? And that's what I'm saying. Most travel agents have a lot of lamb in them because we're curating crazy experiences for people. We like to take care of people. We like to make sure that everyone else is okay. That's what makes a great travel agent. Where our challenge is going to come is that it doesn't make necessarily the best salesperson, but that's going to stop today because you're listening to this. You're going to be a great salesperson because of this, because the bull, the owl, and the tiger, if you're trying to sell to them like you want to be sold to, you're going to lose them somewhere along the way, or you're going to get eaten up, or they're going to forget about you. So I'm going to give you some tactics here in a moment. So now that you've identified yourself, I want you to just on a piece of paper, write down the last sale that you lost or the one you're working on right now. Just kind of put that person's name down. And then underneath that, I want you to tell me what personality type do you think they are based on your interactions with them so far. So we're going to give everyone just a second. We're not going to necessarily share this, because I'm going to give you tactics for each person so you can keep writing. The last sale you lost or someone you're working on right now, their
Okay.
personality type.
We
And
have
we're
a
going to go
couple. One of our
good.
agents says the last one she lost was a lamb. Another said the last she lost was an owl.
Mhm.
Another one said she was a bull and I'm a lamb. That didn't work out so well.
Okay.
Another one said an owl, and another agent said number 4. I think that must mean a tiger.
And that's a lamb. I mean, that's an owl for you. They numbered these things.
The last one I lost, it says, was a bull.
Mhm.
She is a lamb, I think, but not sure. Last one was an owl. It's pretty much across the board here, Jen.
Yeah, of course, because guess what? If everybody has some of these personality types and you are one main one, so let's say you're a bull, right? So let's say you're a bull. That means 75% of the people you're talking to are not you. So 75% of the time, you're not connecting with it. It's a possibility you're not connecting with them in the platinum rule, which is to treat them the way they want to be treated. If you don't adjust, if a bull just continues to be a bull and doesn't take into consideration they're talking to an owl, a tiger, or a lamb, and just keep selling the way they want to be sold, they're never going to get these three. And if they do, they're never going to retain them, or it's not going to be a great relationship. It's going to be strained.
And Jen, here's one that I think most of us can identify with. This agent said, I lost a bull because I was looking for the cheapest deal.
Yes. Oh my God, I'm so proud of you. Whoever said that. Did you just realize that that's the reason why? If you just realize that's the reason why, boy, you just taught yourself something and everybody else on this webinar.
So
Bulls
valuable, this
yeah,
information.
good, good. Bulls don't want the cheapest. They despise it. They want the best value. They want the prestige. They want to be able to walk around and say, well, I got it for this. That doesn't mean they want the cheapest. They just want to, they want to be able to be boastful. So okay, thank you for whoever just shared that. Let's go to the next, let's go to tactics for each one. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to take this personality and I'm going to talk about if you are this personality, how you're probably irritating, pissing off, and turning off 75% of the people and what to do about it. So if you are a bull personality and you are trying to sell to another bull, they are super easy. Bottom line it, nothing long, tell them you want the credit card. I tell other bulls all the time, here's how much it is, here's how much it costs, you know, here's what it is, here's how much it costs, what credit card are you going to be using? You got to go straight in. They don't respect people who do not ask for the sale. They don't respect you. They might say no 17 times, but you just keep going back in. Bulls want you to help them make good decisions that make them look good. So here are some of the words that I want you to start using around a bull. Things like exclusive, top notch, just released, never been seen before, customized, personalized, mostly customized, not personalized, customized, curated just for you. The one of a kind. You hear what I'm saying? They want to know that they're getting something that nobody else has. Perfect bull example, a salesperson sold my boss, and I tell this story all the time, so he's okay with me. He went in to buy a little RV. He was actually trading in a bus, not a bus, but like a van. And he went in and he was like, he had a budget, and whatever that budget was, and he said, this is my budget, and how can I trade this in and get something else? I need something we can sleep in. And so the salesperson said, oh, okay, and showed him the next level up. And then Ken said, oh, okay. And Ken kind of looked across the parking lot. He saw another one. He says, well, how much is that? And the salesperson was smart enough, and Ken tells this story. The salesperson was smart enough to realize that he could probably sell Ken the biggest one on the lot, but that Ken still needed to feel good about the fact that he walked in saying he only wanted to spend X, and he knew he was going to spend 7 times more that amount. So he said, oh, that's this much, but I got to tell you, for just a little bit more, you could have this, but you probably can't afford that because you told me. And that's what got him the sale. You probably can't afford that because you told me, and boom, Ken bought the big boy because he's a bull. And he didn't want to be walking out of there without the big boy. So that's how you work with bulls. If you're a bull, you cannot shove it down. So if you're a bull personality, you can't shove anything down an owl's neck. An owl is going to ask you 1,000 questions. You have to hold your tongue, answer every single question. You are welcome to say, have I answered all of your questions? Have I answered all of your questions? Let's go ahead and reserve this for you today. All I need is a credit card and we'll take care of it. You got to just sprinkle that in every so often, but you got to answer all their questions. You got to ask them if you answered all those questions. If you get so irritated, you need to partner up with another owl, or you need to recognize that you don't have the stamina to sell an owl. Bulls, please be nice to our lambs. They're scared to death of you. You come across very boisterous. We usually have very loud voices. When you're talking to a lamb, just lower your voice, slow your pace, ask them about their family, really listen intently to their answers. Use those answers to help them feel good about their decision. Your two challenges are going to be your owls and your lambs. Tigers, no big deal. A bull, you could just say, oh my God, we're totally gonna have so much fun. I've got this whole thing set up for you in Cabo. Here's what it is. How many more friends do you want to invite? Just send me everybody's names. I'm gonna call them. Oh my God, what's the hashtag we're gonna use? You just think Valley Girl with a tiger. Tiger's like, yeah, 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 yeah. And just keep walking them through the process. Just keep sending them everything a little bit at a time, what they need, and have them fill it out. Do not assume a tiger's ever gonna remember anything you've said to them. So you gotta get the credit card quick. Those are the tactics if you're a bull. For everybody else, I'm going to share with you how to sell to that bull, just like every other personality type. What questions do we have about bull tactics while we're here?
None.
Okay, go ahead and type them in if you have any. The beautiful thing about working with bulls, if you are a bull and you've hit another bull, save yourself some time, just get right to it. You know that's what you want. If you are a bull, though, nobody else wants to get right to it. You've got to be careful with that.
Okay.
I see a lot of bulls on Facebook.
Still no questions. I think everyone's writing stuff down.
Okay, good deal, good deal. All right, well, I got a lot of lambs here. Okay, here we go. Lambs and owls. Owls. Okay, if you are an owl, you have to recognize that the bull does not care about 90% of what you're sharing with them. Your best tactic, owl, is to ask the bull, bottom line it for me, sir or ma'am, bottom line it for me. What's the most important thing that I need to know about this vacation? You can even use the words, bottom line it for me. And then you can ask them, if I'm able to get this for you, are you ready to make a decision? You can ask a strong closing question to a bull. Don't be afraid, owl, that you haven't told them every single thing. Now, there are certain laws and things that we need to, as travel agents, obviously reveal to them, but don't reveal it during the selling process. Reveal it after you've gotten the credit card. Reveal it after they've made that emotional decision. Hey, there's 3 things I want to make sure we're in agreement with so that we can put you on this fabulous vacation. And they are A, B, and C. Do you agree to all those? Fabulous. Let's move on. You can put it in writing, but understand that they're only going to reply back with maybe a Y or an N. Bulls don't like a lot of conversation that wastes their time. So that's going to be hard for you, owl, because you think everybody needs to know that information, and they don't. Bulls don't care. Lambs are going to play along with you. Because they're going to be nice to you, because you get excited about sharing the information. They get excited that you're excited. You're oversharing. For an owl to sell to a lamb, you want to slow your pace, not more than you probably all are already. And you want to ask them the same question, what's most important to you? Do not be surprised if the answer is that my kids have fun. What's most important is that we get a direct flight because I'm breastfeeding. What's most important is it'll be a personal reason, 9 times out of 10. Owls recognize that you are the best advocate for a lamb if you're dealing in a partner scenario where maybe you're talking to the husband and the husband says, you know what, I really got to get with my wife on this. You can say to them, that's great. I've got all kinds of information. I can answer your wife's questions. Let's get together on a 3-way call, or what works best for you. Can we meet for coffee? You are a lamb's best friend in the selling cycle if there's a partner that they have to you have to sell, so to speak. I hope that makes sense.
So we have a
Owls
question about a bull now. Can we go back to the
okay.
bull? So with bulls,
Sure.
She wants to know, so with bulls, you need to keep it on a business level and not personal details or questions so much, right?
Yes and no. You can ask them personal stuff. So, with a bull, they don't mind that you strategically stalk them with excellence. I call that Facebook stalking. If you can say, "Hey, I see you're an Alabama fan or you're an Auburn fan. My friends went to that or what have you." If you find a way to play that in there, they're going to feel kind of special that you actually looked them up. Believe it or not. You don't have to keep it business. It could still be personal. Bulls have personal lives, right? But it's about them. I think the key is make it about them. It's about them. It's not about you. It's about them. They want to feel like they're doing business with somebody who knows what they're doing. So you need to have some confidence behind your questions or reasons behind your questions. And they want you to tell them they're fabulous in some way. You don't have to say, "Hey, you're really fabulous," but it's more along the lines, it's prestige, right? They want to know that that there's something special. So you do kind of have to get personal along the way.
Jen, do you want some more questions, or are we getting a little
Yeah,
bit
yeah, go
short
ahead.
on
Yeah,
time?
no, yeah, no, yeah. We're gonna go through this, and then yeah, it's
Okay.
mostly questions. No.
Okay. So our agent says, I'm a bull. I think it's easier for me to have bulls as clients. We understand each other.
That's correct. Bulls and bulls do great business together. But that's only 25% of the audience. Now, listen, if you only want to do business with bulls, when I had my own consulting firm, as an example, all of my verbiage, my website, the colors I used, all branding, messaging, marketing, every presentation was geared for me to attract bulls and lambs, because bulls and lambs would listen to my advice and do what I tell them to do. I used to have my own small business consulting firm, and for them to be successful, I need people to do what I'm telling them to do. So that's, even though they're two completely opposite, my verbiage would say, if you're a hard charging, sleep deprived, passionate, I can't remember my other adjective I used to use, entrepreneur that's struggling to build your business and make your family proud, I would put both words in my messaging, right? So I put those words in my messaging so that the bull would see it and the lamb would see it. Owls were too taxing for me. I could not answer every flippin' question and make any money. So I didn't really want to attract an owl. And tigers never did anything I said because they always forgot they had an appointment. Even though I would charge them, and I charged a pretty penny, they would forget. So I really didn't want to do business with them so much. I wanted to do business with bulls and lambs. So you can still say, I only want to do business who are bottom line kind of people, and just recognize everything about your marketing, everything you do, focus on that, and then you will attract exactly who you want, and you'll still have a thriving business.
Well, that brings us to our next question. One of our agents said, how do you direct your marketing to sell to the most appropriate type?
Yeah, I mean, I think I just I covered it a little bit. It's really you don't want too much verbiage. If you want, well, okay, so was the question to the appropriate type or to all types? What was the question again?
To the appropriate type.
Yeah, I mean, to the appropriate type, you're going to take a look at the personality and the characteristics of the type that you want to attract. An owl wants all the details on the website. An owl wants you to send them, full-on itineraries the very first time you talk to them. A bull does not. So you would then attract with good, solid, strong words that would attract a bull, and not so much information that would distract a bull, but enough information that the owl knows you've got more answers to share because they've got questions to ask. So things on your website might say something like, here are the top 7 things that I hear customers ask me all the time for list number, and then you list the number 7 things. And then for the rest of the 20, click here to contact me. Or for the rest of the 20, click here to expand. The owl will always do it. The bull will only read the first 3. So you better make sure the first 3 are powerful and make an emotional decision whether or not they're going to call you from there.
Fantastic.
Lambs will read everything you send. Tigers aren't going to read a damn thing, so make sure your phone number is really bright. As simple as that. It's so, so easy. I could talk all day about this. I hope that answered your question.
I think it did.
Okay, good. Lamb tactics. Okay, so let's go on. So that's the owl. Owl, nobody, most 75% of the people, bulls don't want all the information. Owls, when you sell to lambs, recognize you don't want to get yourself into the friend zone, like boys and girls used to talk about. I never want to hit the friend zone. A lamb will let you talk and talk, and you think you're making your way down this path, and they have absolutely zero intention of saying yes. And they feel so bad that they've actually had you do all this work. So along the way, be asking for the credit card, be asking, are you ready to make this decision? So that they give them a chance to say, you know what, I don't think this is going to work out. Recognize you're talking to a lamb, and in the very beginning, find out their why. Why do they want to go on this vacation? Owls, when you're talking to tigers, they are not paying attention to 90% of what you're talking about. They want to, they're excited. They're very easy to sell. An owl, it's easy to sell a tiger because a tiger needs someone who's going to pay attention to the details. So the things you would say to them in a more faster tone would be, hey, no worries. I'm going to walk you step by step through this. I've got you every step of the way. You're going to have so much fun. This is going to be the best vacation ever. I need your credit card. Okay, fantastic. Now go find your passport. Okay, great. But don't do it all in one email and expect them to send it back to you. With a lamb, you're going to do the same thing, but just in a slower tone. You're going to send a very nice email. You're going to say, at your earliest convenience, please reply, filling in all these blanks. And of course, you know how to sell an owl because you guys just love all your magic markers and your 3-ring binders and your tabs on your computer and stuff. Those are the owl tactics. Any questions about owl tactics?
Not directly, no. I want to also stress to our agents that if you had comments, Jen will be seeing all your comments. If you have questions that we don't have a chance to answer, Jen's going to be putting up contact information, and she can point you in the right direction after the webinar.
Yep. All right. So let's get on over to tigers. What lamb? Well, lamb, what happened here? There we go. See, I'm a tiger. I don't even know where I am on my presentation. Okay, so tigers. Okay. I didn't remember hearing a lot of the travel agents that were responding saying that their number one thing is they're a tiger. I don't recall that, Sandy. I don't think most.
There weren't a lot, no.
Right, and that's because there's a lot of detail in selling travel. Tigers have a tough time with this. So I want to focus more on understanding the tiger personality. And if you are a tiger and you're listening to this, whether you're live or you're listening to it later on, recognize that everybody else does like the detail. Everybody else does need something from you. It's not just fun and games. We have to get down to brass tacks. Being a really successful travel agent and business owner means that you are organized. And if you have a tough time being that way because you have more fun, you're bringing more joy by doing the research and traveling and seeing all these places and posting on Instagram, you may be a great marketer, but you're going to have a tough time closing a lot of sales if you don't pay attention to the details. So I always tell tigers, hire an assistant. Get an assistant that's going to do those emails for you so that you can focus on what you're really good at, which is building the excitement, experiencing things, being able to share with people their experience. You are the ones that help people experience FOMO all the time because you're posting all the time. You'll get a lot of phone calls. You just have to focus on the fact, how detailed am I and how detailed do I want to be? So those, if you're selling to tigers, recognize tigers do well with people who are going to take care of them, and that you tell them, don't worry, I'm going to take great care of you. I'm going to walk you through this step by step. I'm not going to let you fail. Tell me the other friends. You can actually ask selling questions in the middle of everything else. Their brains bounce back and forth, back and forth all the time, and they'll answer all your questions. They're fun to sell to. They're fun. They can be exhausting to sell to because they just bounce around a lot. They're bouncing. They ask you a question about passport one minute, and the next is like, hey, what's Aspen like in February? And you're going to be like, I'm talking about your passport requirements. But they bounce around. Their brains kind of bounce around a lot. So those are the personalities and the way to sell to each of them. I don't know how to go back in my presentation. Sorry about that. Those are the personalities and how to sell to each of them. Once you master this, I promise you, you will never hear a no again. I promise you. If you want me to send you this PowerPoint, I've put my email up here. I am happy to send it to you. If you've got any quick questions, I am happy to answer those quick questions for you. And speaking of questions, I think we had a question. I know we only have about 5 minutes left, right?
Yes, yeah, we do want to get to the prize giveaway because it's such a phenomenal prize.
Yeah.
So yeah, we have a couple more questions, but I'm going to ask our agents to perhaps email them to you, and you can help them from there. And I'm also very anxious for you to see the comments. Everybody has been blown away by this presentation. It's not, they say it's not information I've ever heard before. This is amazing. So
Good.
Jen, when you get a chance to see the comments, I think you'll be really happy.
Oh, thank you. Well, if I could just comment on that, and thank you for sharing that. I will tell you, that is the reason why I closed my consulting practice down, and I was pretty successful. I used to be on Fox Business News and everything. I did it because I wanted to devote 100% of my time to helping travel agency owners and entrepreneurs in this industry. I think it is an industry that's been misunderstood for so long. The people who've been in it for so long, they're the veterans, they're the fighters, the ones that made it through, those that are trying to chime in. We've got to give you all the tools, and everybody here at TPI feels the same way. We have a bunch of obsessed, crazy, sleep deprived employees here, and we never want to bring you what somebody else has brought you. So thank you. I appreciate that.
Well, we entrepreneurs are the better for your having concentrated on us. And again, these amazing comments are still coming in. But we do want to have a couple of minutes at the top of this hour to give away the prize giveaway. Jen, do you want to tell our agents what this fantastic prize is? And we're giving away two of them.
Yeah, we're going to give away two. They asked me for one prize. I'm like, can I give two? So the two winners, each of you will receive a free 30-minute phone conversation with me, consultation. We can talk about whatever you want to talk about. I want you to email me some ideas ahead of time so that during our 30 minutes, we're getting right to it. And I used to charge $1,000. I used to charge $1,000 an hour for this. So you're getting it for free.
Well, that is fabulous. So here's how this contest is going to work. Jen is going to ask a question about something that she discussed during her webinar, and I will take the fifth correct answer I see come across my screen, but please be aware I'm only going to consider the answers that come in after Jen has finished asking the question. So please don't telegraph the answers, just wait till she finishes, and the fifth correct answer I see come across my screen. So here's prize number one. Jen, go ahead with your question.
So question number one was, which life rule helps you connect best with others? I mentioned two of them. Which one helps you connect best with others?
Okay, the answers are coming in fast and furiously. Let's see who's number five. 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, the correct answer is the platinum rule.
Yes.
Everybody so far has given us the right answer. And the fifth winner, the fifth person on my screen is Paula Demmer. So Paula
Hey.
Demmer, congratulations. You have won a wonderful 30-minute coaching session with this fabulous Jen Lee. So we will pass your name along to Jen and your contact information, and she will get in touch with you.
Awesome, Paula. I can't wait to talk to you. That's
Okay,
awesome.
great. And
All right.
before we do question two, let me just clear my screen here so I have a better chance at seeing everyone's answers. Okay, here's prize number two. Go ahead, Jen, with the question.
All right. I want you to finish this sentence with the two words that are missing. People buy on blank and justify blank. Two words missing out of that sentence.
Okay, let's see. 1, 2, 3, 4. Here we go. We've got a winner. The answer is people buy on emotion and justify logically.
Yep.
And the fifth correct answer on my screen was written by Karen Gordon. So
Hey,
congratulations, Karen Gordon. You have also won a fabulous, very valuable 30-minute coaching session from our speaker, Jen Lee. Jen, this has been absolutely fantastic. It's like drinking from a fire hose. You have so much information, and people have never heard it broken down like this, and I know how helpful this has been. Our
Yes.
host today has been Travel Planners International, TPI, and our amazing speaker has been Jen Lee, Vice President of Sales and Marketing. Jen, again, thank you so much for this unbelievable presentation.
My pleasure. My pleasure. You guys go out there and make big things happen. I believe in you.
And I want to thank our agents for being with us today. I know you got a lot out of this, and I hope you put it to use very soon. So thanks again. Enjoy the rest of your day, and we'll see you next time. Bye, everybody.